I visited my friend's house and followed all their strict vegan rules, but when his wife admitted to switching my milk and going through my suitcase, things went nuclear. I know I'm partially at fault for the friendship ending, and I'm willing to accept my judgment. It's really long, so I apologize. In November of last year, I went to visit a friend. We'll call him Kevin, and stayed at his and his wife's house. Early last year, Kevin and his wife, we'll call her Karen, moved a couple of states away. For context, we are all over the age of 35. Kevin and I were part of a friend group from an old job. Another couple from the friend group also went on this trip, but they were visiting family and stayed with them. Prior to the move, our friend group didn't have much interaction with Karen, as she rarely spent time with us even though she was always invited. They never hosted us at their old house. They are vegan. I am not. Kevin is not fully vegan as he eats fish. However, his wife does the grocery shopping, so everything outside of fish is vegan, and he eats or drinks it. He buys his own fish and has a mini kitchen to prepare his meals away from hers. For even more context, Karen is not vegan for health reasons. She frequently brings up their vegan lifestyle and conversations, no matter how irrelevant, makes fun of people who eat meat or use animal byproducts, accuses people of being murderers, and so on, except she leaves Kevin alone. She refers to any food that is not vegan as trash or garbage. For example, when she joined us before the move, she would always ask how people could eat such garbage any time we eat meat. It was annoying, but I never confronted her about it. The day before I visited, Karen sent me a short list of food-related rules I had to follow. One of those rules was that I couldn't store non-vegan food in either kitchen. I asked if I could bring milk, and she agreed, but I had to keep it in the fish fridge. All the food I ate at their house tasted off, even the breakfast waffles and the tuna casserole Kevin made for us Saturday afternoon. It didn't taste spoiled, just off. Weird. A little gross. I've never eaten vegan food before, so I figured that was the reason, vegan ingredients. I couldn't eat much of it after a few bites. Luckily, I had packed a few protein, non-vegan snacks in my room inside a zippered canvas bag at the bottom of my suitcase. I was not specifically prohibited from bringing snacks to keep in my room. I disposed of the trash after I left. I also ate some street food from the market. Kevin, our friends, and I visited Saturday afternoon, and I ate a lot at the restaurant Saturday night. I'm not ashamed. My husband and I were supposed to visit them this weekend, but Karen called me a couple of hours ago. She informed me that I wouldn't be allowed to bring milk this time. She also said my husband and I couldn't bring snacks and that I should have asked last time. Apparently, she went through my suitcase when Kevin, our friends, and I were out at the market and found my snacks. On top of that, she told me she had replaced my milk with almond milk and thought it was hilarious. I drank some milk Friday night before bed and another glass Saturday morning. Kevin then told me he wanted to save the rest for the casserole and waffles. What actually happened was, after I poured my glass Saturday morning, Karen dumped the rest and replaced it with almond milk. Kevin knew but didn't tell me. I never checked because I assumed Kevin was saving it, as he said. Both the waffles and the casserole were made with almond milk. I was so mad I knew I couldn't say anything nice. I told her I had another call coming in and hung up. After calming down, I called her back to ask why she went through my suitcase and dumped my milk. She claimed that it was her house, and she had a right to know, which was why she was allowed to go through my belongings. She also said she dumped my milk because nobody can tell the difference between cow's milk and almond milk, and I wouldn't have known if she hadn't told me. I called her a controlling, self-centered freak, and told her Kevin has a stash of real cheese hidden in the fish fridge that he sneaks into his meals. Then I hung up on her. Afterward, I called Kevin. He sided with her and said I crossed the line when I asked to bring milk and that it was rude to order meat when we went to dinner. We argued, and I told him it seemed like our lives were going in different directions and that we didn't need to be friends anymore. I know I probably should have asked if I could bring non-vegan snacks or kept them in my car. I also shouldn't have called her names. I was a guest in their house, and Kevin has me half convinced that I should have respected Karen's veganism by not having any non-vegan food at all. My husband thinks they're completely in the wrong. He believes that since their lifestyle isn't one most people follow, they should have made exceptions, especially since Kevin gets a fish exception. He's also furious that she went through my suitcase and pointed out that if I'd been allergic to almonds, I could have gotten very ill. He says I'm better off and thinks ending the friendship was the right choice. He and Kevin got along, but like Karen, My husband was just a spouse of someone in the friend group and wasn't very close to him. A few minutes ago, I got the, "Hey, can we talk" text. Honestly, I don't know if I'll respond. I'm just done with it. Edit. I'm so sorry I can't respond to all your comments. Just know I'm reading them. I'll call Kevin on my lunch break today, and we'll post an update as so many people have asked for one relevant comments. Commentary 1. NTA. I wouldn't want to be friends anymore either. She had no right to replace your milk after allowing you to bring it. She had absolutely no right to go through your bags. She is a crazy, controlling weirdo, so I don't see why you would apologize for anything you said. I certainly would never spend time with someone who thinks they can control what you eat at a restaurant. I'm guessing the only reason this friendship lasted was because you never saw the wife. You could maybe try that. Commenter 2. Right. I would be defecating in her toilet and not flushing just in case she wanted to inspect that too. Up. I feel like maybe I'm overreacting by ending the friendship. The only thing I'm 100% sure about is that I'm owed an apology for going through my stuff and for the milk. I wasn't going to starve, and I had the option of prepping meals in his mini kitchen. He just offered to do the cooking. I spent a little time around her before, but clearly not enough to know her well since I didn't expect she'd do stuff like that. We could always stay at a hotel, but the closest one is 30 minutes away. It also seems rude to go down there and completely avoid her. I don't know. Commenter 3. Wow. I would have been able to tell the difference between regular and almond milk because my throat would have closed up quickly. I hate it when people think it's okay to mess with someone else's food regardless of where they are. It's never ever okay. Fortunately, I don't have allergies, but there was definitely a taste difference. I was raised in the "you eat what you're given" era and couldn't bring myself to say, well, I don't like this, so I'm going to make myself something else. I've always been able to find something I like about a meal, but all of it was just I don't know how to describe it. The taste and the texture were really strange. Update. 1 day later. This is a long update, but it's the last one. First, thank you to everyone who responded. Your comments were not only helpful, but some made me tackle in a very unladylike manner. Secondly, I want to clarify that the bag Karen found in my suitcase had emergency cash and a credit card as well as snacks. The reason it was hidden in my suitcase was to keep it safe, not to hide food. I wasn't sneaking it in. This is important later, but I did have protein bars in there just in case I took issue with their food. Naughty me. I responded to Kevin yesterday and told him I needed some time to think. I said I'd get back to him today. I took some of your advice and reached out to our friend group last night. After the group chat and talking privately with the friends who were there that weekend, I learned some things. Long story short, out of our core group of 6, I'm the only one who kept up with Kevin. The only reason those 2 friends accepted Kevin's invitation to visit that weekend was because I was going. Visiting family was just a bonus. After thinking about it and sleeping on it, I realized all of you are right about Kevin's complicity in the milk switch. I didn't pay as much attention to his role as I should have because I was so focused on the fact that Karen switched the milk in the first place. I also realized he never actually responded when I told him Karen confessed to going through my suitcase during our call yesterday. He changed the subject instead, talking about how it was rude to ask to bring milk. Anyway, I called Kevin on my lunch break today and went through the list of issues: Karen going through my suitcase, him not telling me about the milk switch, Karen switching the milk after telling me I could bring it, and how what I eat is none of their business as long as I'm not contaminating their food. He told me the only thing he would apologize for was saying it was rude to order non-vegan food at the restaurant. He said that since they had plenty of food in the house for me to eat, he didn't have to apologize for anything else. Apparently, Karen had told him not to tell me about the milk switch, because she was trying to prove I couldn't tell the difference between vegan and non-vegan food. Essentially the same thing she told me. I told him that since I barely ate any of it, clearly, I could tell the difference. He also said he had planned to tell me eventually, but forgot. I said Karen could have just said no when I asked to bring milk instead of being a swampy butthole about it. He said that although he didn't agree with Karen going through my things, I wasn't owed an apology because I broke the rules by sneaking meat into their house. There was a meat stick in that canvas bag. I told him I had only been told not to have non-vegan food in the kitchens, and that the meat stick was left over from my drive to their house. Since I didn't switch it with their food, like a certain someone, I hadn't done anything wrong. The last thing he said was that I wasn't getting an apology because after I told Karen about his cheese stash, she unplugged his fish fridge. He didn't get home from work until late, and according to his Google search, all the refrigerated fish had to be thrown out. Apparently, this is my fault. He said we were even now. He didn't tell me about the milk switch, and I snitched about his cheese. I tried to explain that these weren't the same thing and that I wasn't responsible for what Karen did, but he didn't care. He also said he knew I wasn't allergic to nuts. I don't remember ever discussing that with him, but whatever. I asked if he truly believed I didn't deserve any apologies from either of them, and he said yes. I told him that if he couldn't see what they did wrong and apologize, I couldn't help him and to call me when he got his balls back from his wife. He hung up on me. Yesterday, I thought I owed him an apology because I was wrong. I thought if I gave him one, we could maintain a friendship. Today, I think the problem was that I was holding on to something that didn't exist anymore. Until you all reality check me, I ignored a lot of things and gaslit myself. So thank you everybody for this smack to the back of the head. Everybody should have people like you in their lives. Thanks for reading. Relevant comments. Commenter 1. Hey, you disposed of about 200 pounds of meat. Maybe Karen's vegan tantrum worked after all. My husband said almost the same thing. Commenter 2. I'd watch your credit card because Karen might try to use it. She sounds very off. Up. I actually canceled it Thursday after our phone call and ordered a new one. It was inside an inner pocket, but I wasn't taking any chances. My husband said last night that if I didn't, I'd probably see a charge for a new fridge. He was only half joking.